Are we getting bolder with a B as we are getting older with an O? That is the question I'm going to tackle with you today. Hi there, my name is Ellen. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So, I had this lengthy conversation the other day with some friends regarding boldness. And they feel that as they're getting older, they are in the 60s, that they felt that they are getting bolder with a B. So I said to myself, that is a really interesting concept. Are we getting bolder? Um, are we losing our filter? I hope not. I hope the filter is still in place. But it is an interesting concept. And I know as children, we were often dared, right? They were like, I double dare you to do this, or triple dare, or quadruple dare, right? And we would go for it because we felt we had something to prove. Well, where has all that gone? Is Are you still bold today? Bold with a B? Or have you lost it somewhere? Perhaps it is time to find it and apply it again. So, as an example, my friend of mine, she was asking, why aren't we asking for the things that we really want? Why are we selling ourselves short? And I was like, good question. We shouldn't be. So we decided as a group to challenge ourselves to say yes to three things this upcoming week and to things that we normally would say no to, like, a lengthy workout and, things that we don't really like to do. But we're going to say yes. And so I think it is encouraging to try something different and to see where your limits are. And you never know who you're going to meet while you're out there. I'm not asking you to take up a tennis match when you haven't played tennis in years and only make it halfway. And then you're like, okay, I'm quitting. I can't take it anymore. It's okay because, you gave it a try. And that's what it's all about, us trying and not being afraid to be bold, right? There are challenges that we can obviously overcome. Um, I remember as a kid, I heard this sentence from my father often, and he would say, "Question authority," and I was always like, "What does he mean by that?" I was a kid. Obviously, I found out by now that question authority is a healthy concept. As an example, you're going to your doctor's office and they suggest surgery, or you're going to a dentist and they, suggest perhaps to do new crowns or pull a tooth or what have you. And I'm thinking it's really important to ask questions. And if you're not being satisfied with the answers, to perhaps get a second opinion, before they put you under, with surgery, or before they ask for a big down payment for an extra crown or what have you. It's probably a good idea to get a second opinion. If you feel that they are hesitant in some way to answer those questions, it is definitely time to perhaps get a second, or maybe even moving away from that doctor or the dentist altogether if they don't really want to answer the questions. So just because doctors wear a white coat doesn't always mean that they have the absolute authority. I think it's okay to ask, and get some clarification on what actually needs to get done. So that definitely needs to be addressed at times. Just like if you had an accountant, right, or a tax person that you go and take your taxes to. I mean, if they're not very clear on the process and why you owe, why you are, receiving money that you didn't expect, it's okay to ask for clarification, I think. And and if a banker is trying to sell you some stocks or investment portfolio and what have you, ask for clarification. And I'm thinking they should actually enjoy to be challenged to answer those questions truthfully. And if they come across as not being truthful, perhaps ask for someone else, or just go to a different branch or a different bank altogether. But I'm thinking it is important to definitely not be afraid to ask for clarification and question authority. Just even with your boss, right? If there are things that they are expecting and these are new expectations, I'm thinking it's okay to ask for clarification. And why is it important that we start this new process now, right? What has led to the change? I think it's important. So then that way you go in with open eyes and not resentment, um, even Congress, a congresswoman or congressman in your state, it's okay to ask them questions if you are wondering about certain, changes in rules and what have you, laws. It's okay to call them. I mean, I think they welcome that. Write them a letter if you wanted to. I'm also always thinking that it is important to be respectful and mindful on how you choose your words. Obviously, when you come from a place of of curiosity, I think anyone would like to enlighten you and help you understand, gain understanding. I think for sure they would. Even if you had things you have never done before. Now we're talking about boldness today, right? To take a solo trip. If you have never done that before, I tell you for myself, it is so empowering. I've had many friends who have done trips on their own and they come back changed. They just do. I know I have. Um, if you're not confident yet, where you maybe always have traveled with a friend or with a partner, try by yourself. Maybe just, go and be curious about another neighborhood. Drive into a different neighborhood in your city that you have never been to. And take a look around. Maybe there's a boutique or a coffee place that you've never been to. Perhaps you see a layout in a beautiful garden that you would like to try on your own, in your own garden, maybe, when you get home. Um, there are so many things that can inspire you. And so I call them baby steps, right? So kind of get out of your neighborhood, then maybe get to another city within your state. When you have done that, maybe go to another state that is aligned with your state, and spend a night there. Rent a hotel room and set it all up and spend a night there. Go and explore. You will come back and invigorated and inspired. I'm sure you will be. And it will also help you to now perhaps get on the plane and go somewhere where you've never been and you don't know anyone there, right? So maybe go to New York City or to Florida or wherever you are, right? In the opposite direction and try something completely different just by yourself. Like I said, it is very empowering and it is the year to me of boldness, as you're getting older, go for it. Um, if you ever have, say, you are out with friends, right, and you come across someone that you find really interesting, you exchange looks and what have you, and then they smile at you, and then you smile at them, and before you know it, you got something going there. There's some chemistry in the middle of the restaurant, and I'm thinking it's all right to approach that person and before you ask for a coffee date, make sure that you ask them if they are not in a committed relationship. That's really important. I think that is definitely off the table. Um, yeah, you want to be, it's all about girl power, right? Making sure that you have your friends, your girls, your ladies' back. I think it's really important to not approach anyone who is in a committed relationship. But you never know. Sometimes people don't wear rings, right? So I think asking is always a good thing to do. But go out for a cup of coffee. I think many times. I think when you look back, generations and not even so far, so long ago, and even now, I think still men are kind of expected to take the lead. And I'm really thinking it's okay for a woman to approach and to ask maybe if they would be interested to see you another day for coffee and get to know each other a little bit. You never know who you're going to meet through them. You might even speak to your future boss. You just never know. So I always say, give it a try. Um, I mean, if they say no, then you thank them and you go back to your table and your girlfriends and what have you, and then perhaps, hopefully, you will find some boldness down the road and do it again. But I'm thinking men have done it so many times, and often they get a no, and they don't stop trying. So why should we, right? So at this point in your life, be bold. I'm telling you, there is this series from in England somewhere. I see it sometimes on television. It's called Waiting for God. Honestly, don't be that person. I mean, if you're healthy, live out loud. I mean, take initiative. Go out there, see what's out there and what's available. You'd be amazed on how many opportunities there are out there. There's a whole life waiting for you to be discovered. So I'm always saying, go for it. What can happen? They can say no, and then you just go next. I mean, really, it's not that difficult. We are all humans, we are all connected. Everyone is curious. I'm hoping you still have that curiosity that you've had when you were a child, and that this is the time really to go out and fulfill um, all the curiosity that you have left. I think it's really important to go out there and find something that inspires you. Um, at the same time, there is also times when you perhaps are asked to sign a new contract, right? Say a refinancing of a loan, you're buying a new car, perhaps you live in a rental, and it is time for you to re-sign leasing papers. It's okay, I think, to ask for discount. Ask them for what type of incentives are they offering at this point, right? I think if you don't ask, you will not receive. I mean, isn't there that's what even the Bible says, right? Ask and you shall receive. So don't ever stop asking. You never know what is going to come your way if you just give it a try. So I'm thinking, it is important to go out there and ask for discounts no matter where you go. People are often, they just forget to offer that, and if you wouldn't have asked, you would have been paying full price. And so I'm thinking, why not? So I'm sorry, I'm getting dry throat here. But anyway, I would say don't ever let anyone tell you that you have to behave a certain way just because you're a certain age. No, you don't. You please become bold. If not now, when, right? I mean, I have covered that in a previous video on all the tools in terms of if not now, when. But this is really about boldness. So find it within yourself. I think you have plenty of boldness left in you. And so I encourage you to go out there and try to do things you have never done before. Um, I am rooting for you. I really, really am. So if you are healthy and you're curious, adventurous, and even if it's just a little bit, start with that and then increase it ever so much more until you finally get to the point where you go like, I was free falling and I had a blast, right? So I will encourage you for sure. So anyway, if you're still here, I thank you, and I wanted to ask you to please like my video if it gave you some kind of information and inspiration. Share if you care. And of course, subscriptions are always free on YouTube. It never costs a dime, which is beautiful. So I'm loving YouTube. I really do. So again, start something new. Be bold. Now, as you are getting older, we are the baby boomers, right? The BBs. So go for it. Don't let anyone tell you that this is not the right time. It is always the right time. Always. All right. Thank you so much. I have a new video coming out every Tuesday and every Friday. So please tune in. Until the next time. Thank you so much. And don't forget to be bold with a B. Thank you. Bye.